Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Running the Bases. I'm Michael Garaffa. This is Nick Nath, and that's Ryan Blank on the bottom today. And boy, I'll tell you what, we are so happy to be back. I told you guys last time it was not going to be the end of us. I told you we were going to come back. I knew there would be no ending to Running the Bases. It is a matter of you can't get rid of us. You just can't. There's no stopping Running the Bases. We had to get ourselves situated in our lives, and now that we're all back and working and used to our schedules, and I'm no longer working as much, we have the ability to do shows again. And here we are. We are so back. Nick, Ryan, how are we doing?
Good, man. It's good to be back. Good to see you guys. It's crazy. Last time I talked to you guys, it's been well over a month or two now, but thankfully we have this show to kind of reconnect, just talk about some baseball, and let's get into it.
Yeah, it's very nice to see both of your faces because I haven't seen you guys in 4 months now.
Yeah,
it's crazy because Nick and I, we just graduated 4 months ago. Then Michael graduated in December, but still, it's been rough. And a lot of people ask me because I had the off day today. And they asked me, what are you going to do? I was like, this is the most excited I've been for an off day in a while because we're doing this. Usually I'm at the golf course or I'm playing Madden. So thank you for giving me this.
I was looking back at the at my Running the Bases bullpen yesterday at the shows that we do.
How many ideas have we not gotten to?
Oh, my God. There's 4 pages of stuff that we just never did.
I miss our segments we used to do. That was fun.
Those were lit. Hey, if we can get ourselves into a somewhat regular rhythm, we can do stuff again. I do have hope that we can maybe
start
do
a TikTok page.
A TikTok
we should start a TikTok page.
Just go and start off with old clips of us making fun of Michael, and that's how we get the followers we need.
Dude, you're on this. Start it. Do it.
I work over 50 hours a week.
All right, fine. I'll do it. I don't care.
We can do it together.
Yes, it's a group effort.
Exactly. We'll just have I'm not going to say what our password's going to be on the air.
That is a dangerous game to play there.
We can have a simple. Look, Nick Stavas is in the chat. We can have a simple, common password that we can all remember, and it'll be great. And we'll post funny things. We'll do our segments. We'll do weekly stuff. $100 whoever Graphic picks to win the World Series. And
Nick,
whoa.
You are guaranteed to make you do 100 push-ups. You're guaranteed.
I can do 100 push-ups, so that's fine.
So can I, and I'm obese.
Hey,
Wow. But man, we are so happy to be back. And today, as you can tell by the title, it is our postseason predictions show. We have so much in store today. We have had a lot happen since we've last been here. The last time we were here on the air was back in March. It was our regular season predictions show. And I'll tell you what, a lot went wrong. A lot went right. I mean, just so many crazy things.
We've seen Twitter.
I know. I've been posting.
You are doing your little parade. Also, shout out the GOAT, Dominic Stern. Hello, sir.
Yes, Dominic Stern is in the chat. We've got 5 viewers right now. I guarantee you all of them are from Walter's Wagons. That's okay.
I guarantee you it's also the highest viewer count we've had ever.
No, we had 28 at one point. I remember. We had during one of our trade deadline shows. Dude, our trade deadline shows were insane.
Also, Nick saying, all right, making pull-ups, Mr. CrossFit.
I cannot do 100 pull-ups. I can do 100 pull-ups in a day. I cannot do 100 pull-ups in a row. Not possible.
I think it's a bet that you need to make.
I can probably do 10 pull-ups in a row, and that's about it. So, yeah.
Pull-ups are hard.
Pull-ups are hard, and for my 245-pound ass, it's tough. It's really tough.
Imagine for me, buddy.
Yeah, it's.
I can do 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's difficult. So, I have no idea what we were talking about because Nick said that. But, a lot of things have happened. Most importantly for me is that I properly predicted that the Baltimore Orioles were going to win the AL East.
Where's his cookie? Someone go get his cookie right now.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Right now. Actually, I might have cookies, but no, I don't. Oh, is he getting me this is exciting. He's getting me a cookie.
I hope you like crumble.
Oh, yeah. I love crumble cookies. That is phenomenal. Is that just a regular chocolate chip, though?
Yes.
Man, you couldn't have done any better. That's fine. I'll take it.
You know how expensive Crumble is on my salary?
Dude, Crumble is crazy expensive. But yes, I will take it. But yeah, that is something I've been riding all season long. I'm probably one of like 5 people in the world who predicted the Orioles to win the division, and I was correct.
2 of them being at the Walter Cronkite School.
Correct. And I will gladly hold that high up in the air. I made that bold prediction. You guys thought I was crazy, and I somehow was right. I also said the Yankees weren't going to make the playoffs, which you said I was crazy about too. I haven't looked through that entire show. I just remember those are the 2 things that I've remembered all year long, saying I can't wait to prove them wrong. And it just makes me really happy. So I needed to get that out of the way. So let's get ourselves into these predictions, shall we? Because there's a lot going on this postseason. The wild card starts tomorrow. Also, I forgot to mention, beginning of MLB shirt month for me, starting again. My favorite month of the year where I only wear MLB shirts. Oh my God, Marco's in the chat.
Marco, get on the podcast now. Marco,
dude, I texted him and he didn't answer me.
Michael, send him the link.
I will send him the link right now. Oh my God. I'm going to send him the link instantly. Marco, if you I texted him yesterday, he didn't answer me. So I didn't know. I figured he was dead or didn't
Usually
like me.
People don't like talking to Mets fans.
I think he just doesn't.
D-backs fan.
Yeah, well, I'm an employee. I have to be. This is my biggest moment ever. This is the best company I've ever worked for.
That's fair. That's
okay.
Fair.
I would assume so.
Yeah. So I mean, we might get a magical Marco appearance, but yeah, the wild card series starts tomorrow. I've got my Lourdes Gurriel Jr. shirt on, obviously repping the D-backs because as an employee, I must. If the Mets were in it, though, I obviously be supporting the Mets. But
no way.
Imagine having the highest payroll in baseball, paying over $343 million in contracts over the luxury tax just to miss the playoffs and not even win 80 games. I just don't know what to say.
Yep.
Full disclaimer, he said that before the show. And now
he did. Yes, he said that before the show.
Nick, why do you have to take the fun out of that, man?
What's up, Gary? We got Gary Esther in the chat as
well.
Gary!
Yes, sir. Represent.
So yeah, it's been a rough year as a Mets fan since we last spoke. Tough.
Oh, it's been rough for you, huh?
Tough times. Ryan also is supporting the second worst team in baseball, so that's great.
Do you know how close the Royals were to the worst record ever in franchise history? One loss.
Tell me. One. Yeah.
They needed to win 2 or 3 against the Yankees to avoid it, and you know what they did? Won 2 out of 3.
That's how you do it, man.
Nice. Congratulations. However, Nick, though, gets the biggest congratulations of all, finishing in second in the division. They had I don't know if they had the best record out of the 3 of us. I'm pretty sure the Tigers did.
78 wins. Who beat 78 wins?
Who
beat 78 wins?
Let's see.
Yes, Nick. Yes,
Nick. Not us. Yeah, so the Tigers, best record out of the 3 of us this year. I'll just say it. Not a chance of that happening before the year. No chance. That was
celebrating like we're playing in anything. But.
Also, before we get to predictions, Michael, are you okay with Showalter leaving?
Ooh, that's it's a win. It's a win-lose. I love Buck as a person. Buck's a fantastic guy. I'm really sad that he's leaving.
It's also a good
David
manager.
Stearns. Yeah, he's a great manager. I think Buck's a great manager. But David Stearns has his ways. If Buck doesn't follow his ways necessarily, or if he thinks that Buck isn't the guy that he wants for the job, he said it this morning, something that stuck with me that led to me thinking that this is why. He said, we want a manager who's going to work in tandem with the front office and the analytical department to put the best team on the field and to run the team. And I think that's something that Buck wasn't doing. I think Buck wanted to have full control of everything, and the front office just kind of stayed out of it. The Mets have always been a team where they let the manager do everything. But I think David Stearns wants to have a bit of a hand in some of what goes on the field every day, and I think that's a big factor in why he did that. I love Buck. Buck was fantastic, but I also love David Stearns and the hire that we made to get David Stearns. I cannot complain about having him, and I'm not going to complain that he fired Buck because he has his reasons, and I fully trust his reasons because I think if the Mets are going to win a World Series, David Stearns is the man to push us over the edge to do that. So
was he fired? Because all we were seeing was that he's leaving.
He said that if it wasn't mutual. He said if they told him if he didn't resign, they were going to fire him.
Damn. I mean, go out on your own terms.
It's respect to a future Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah.
Or a current Hall of Famer.
Yeah, exactly. Better than just fire him like the Giants did to Gabe Kapler, which was embarrassing.
A day before the season ends.
Yeah, that is brutal. I mean,
no goodbye, nothing.
If you want to fire him, go ahead, but let the man get through the season, especially at that point.
With that roster too, like what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, they're supposed to be acting like, we should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, dude, the Giants are terrible. Their
most mediocre roster I've ever seen, man.
Absolutely,
they are a mid team. They're mid.
So they had no hope. And I think what really sucks about it is there's the two different sides of the coin where Gabe Kapler didn't get to say goodbye; he just was let go. But at least Buck was told and was able to finish out the season, announced it before the game yesterday. So the fans at the game got to give him a standing ovation. The players giving him the standing ovation outside of the dugout. That's something that doesn't happen ever in baseball for a manager, for someone who's getting fired. But this is a situation that's a little bit different. He's not being fired because of performance. He's being fired because he just might not have the same values. The new president of baseball operations coming in, which is why I think it's just a tough situation. It really is. But I mean, I wish the best to Buck. I hope that Buck ends up getting a job that really suits him. He said that he might end up staying in a managerial role somehow. Don't know where he might go. Hey, the Giants have an opportunity now, so you never know. But I just feel bad. I do think, though, because I know that you are certainly wondering, I think Craig Counsell is going to be the next manager of the Mets. I see no reason why that wouldn't happen. His contract is up with the Brewers. David Stearns hired him. He loved Craig Counsell. He was the manager there for the longest time. No reason for him not to be managing the Mets.
I like it
next year.
I like it, especially with how rare of a situation it is with him being a free agent.
Yes.
I like it.
The timing is a little bit too coincidental for me. It's a little too coincidental.
Ooh, are you suggesting some tampering?
No, I'm not suggesting tampering, but the Brewers could have very easily given him a contract extension. And that's what happens most times. If a manager's going to get re-signed, they'll give him an extension. But they didn't. So he's a free agent and gets to sign wherever he wants. And I'd be shocked if the Mets don't get really close. I'd be very surprised if they don't hire Craig Counsell, to be completely honest. I'd be really surprised. To me, he's a shoo-in. Just makes too much sense. It really does. It would be like Brian Cashman leaving the Yankee. Okay, I wouldn't say Cashman. It'd be like Steinbrenner leaving the Yankees 10 years ago and not taking Joe Girardi with him. Like it would have just, if it was the same time, like it just wouldn't have made sense. So that's my Mets talk, but the Mets don't matter anymore. They won't matter.
Best words I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I have other things I can focus on now. For the first, a lot of people think that I'm just being a bandwagon or D-backs fan. When I tell you, when you work for a team and you're watching them day in and day out, you genuinely develop a love for them. Like I really have enjoyed watching them. I can tell you, I could probably name all 26 men on the roster right now, which for the Diamondbacks, not easy because we have a random group of guys most of the time. So I've genuinely become a fan of the team and I've genuinely supported them. I've been all in this entire year. I've even gotten yelled at work for cheering too loudly for the Diamondbacks. So my boss had to tell me, hey, please relax. I was like, sorry, I'm just so excited. It's great. So, I mean, even my mom, you guys know my mother is the diehard Mets fan. She doesn't even care about the Mets she hasn't watched the Mets in like 2 months. She is all in on the Diamondbacks. Like we have become a Diamondbacks house for this year. Next year, we'll go back to the Mets, but still be Diamondbacks fans on the side, but still. It's
you're just throwing off that Yankee Cowboy fan style.
No, why would I be a Diamondbacks fan?
It's different because you work for the team, but you're really showing off that vibe here, and I just hope you realize that.
No, that's totally fine, but I'll own it because I actually am supporting them, and I have a real reason to. So I'm going to be cheering my heart out tomorrow. Hopefully they win. I don't. We'll get to if I think they will or not. But with that, we might as well just get in the predictions. We've done a lot of chatting anyway. So we'll start it right away with the very first series that happens, which is the Blue Jays versus the Twins. Now, we're going to go in round robin style as we always do. It'll go me, Nick, and Ryan. We will say who we think is going to win the series, in how many games, and maybe throw in a little bit on what we think is going to happen in the series or reasonings and why. So we start with the Blue Jays being hosted by the Twins. And this series is interesting because we haven't really gotten to see the Twins really in a true test, because the Twins have been in a horrible division. They've had really an easy route to the playoffs. And I do not think they're going to hold up against Blue Jays at all. I think Blue Jays are going to take that series, and I think they're going to sweep them in 2 games. I think the Twins' postseason drought continues, and it's going to be yet another disappointing year. I see no reason why the Twins should win any games. The starting pitching's better, the bullpen's better, the lineup's better for the Blue Jays. If they don't win this series, it's time to do something different. It's time to rebuild, because there's no reason for them to not win this series. So, I don't know.
No, yeah, you're spot on 100%. I think I'll give the Twins a little break. I think how we'll go, Toronto wins game 1, Minnesota wins game 2 with Sonny Gray pitching, and then Toronto takes care of business in game 3. Ryan and I know it's no secret that the AL Central was moose pissed this year. Any team that was going to win that division was going to have a Mickey Mouse oriented aura around them heading into the playoffs, and it's tough for the Twins, man. They just drew a really good Blue Jays team who I think we haven't seen the best of yet this season. Obviously, they've been kind of treading waters. They've been kind of iffy throughout the entire course of the year, but it's playoff time now, and I really do think that lineup's going to show. I expect a huge series from guys like Vladdy, Bo Bichette, guys that didn't have insanely good regular seasons. Well, Bo Bichette did, but by no means. But Vladdy, a little slow, but I think he gets it done in this series. I think the Blue Jays win 2-1.
So being in North Dakota, I think the one thing that I've seen is I've watched a lot of Twins. And I will say this, second half, they have played a lot better. It's a much better team, but the playoff history is not there. And we've known that. But again, I think this team is better than people give them credit for because of the division that they're in. They've had guys like Matt Wallner step up, who's been great. Cray has been a little bit better as of late, but he hasn't had overall the season that they expected, especially coming off of getting that big contract. I disagree with you, Michael, on it being a sweep, because I agree with you, Nick. The game that Sonny Gray pitches, that's the game the Twins win. I do think Toronto wins this series 2-1, and it's hard because you've seen a lot of inconsistency from the Blue Jays, but if I have to trust one team more, I'm going to trust Toronto because they have the better bullpen, and the Twins' bullpen has not been good. So I'm going to take the Blue Jays, but I think this goes 3 games.
I think the main reason why I'm going with a sweep here, and I actually have a lot of sweeps this season, is because last year, the first year of the wild card series, was last year the first year?
I think last year's second year.
Was it? No, I think last year was the first. It was the first year last year because of the CBA last year. I forgot. My brain's a disaster because they did it in 2020, and then but that doesn't count.
Wait, what was
the best of 3? I'm talking about the first of a regular normal year where we have a best of 3 wild card series. Last year was the first year, and we thought a lot of those were going to go 3 games, and we were very surprised when there were a lot of sweeps. I think only one of them went 3 games last year, and I think a lot of that had to do with winning game 1 gives you so much momentum in game 2, and it puts so much pressure on the backs of the teams that lost game 1, and they couldn't do it in game 2. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot this year as well. I think that's going to be a trend going forward, is that a lot of teams are going to just sweep the series because of that momentum. Think about a lot of 3-game series in which a team wins 2 out of 3. A lot of the time, the team that wins one of the 3 games, typically it's going to come in game 3. They don't normally win that. If they lost the first game, I should say, they normally will win that game of the series in game 3. They don't normally go 1-1-1. It's much more common to see a 2-0 and then a team preventing the sweep because they've got their backs against the wall. So who knows? I really don't know, but we're all in agreement that the Blue Jays are going to win this series. I'd be very surprised if the Twins won it, quite honestly. And even if they do, I really don't see them making it much farther than the DS. But hey, if they win a game, I would not be upset for them. They really, really, really need to win a postseason baseball game. They have not won it in, 20 years now almost. So it's time. It's really time for them to start winning. So that'll take us to the other wild card series with the Rangers and the Rays. And this is the one that's very interesting because we have a Rangers team who felt for most of the season they were going to be skipping that round and that they were going to have an automatic bye into the DS. And now with 1 day left in the season, on the final day, they had to now get ready to play a wild card series, which they were not preparing for, not expecting to do. And they don't have Max Scherzer. They don't have Jacob deGrom. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a real struggle for the Rangers. And I quite honestly think that the Rays postseason experience is going to push them over the edge and get them the win in the series. I genuinely think the Rays are going to take this series in 3 games, and I think it's going to be a real surprise because I think the lack of starting pitching for the Rangers is going to be what is their downfall.
I got 2 words for you. I'll say names instead. Bruce Bochy.
Okay.
Talk about playoff experience right there. I think the Rangers come in. They're so mad they didn't win the division, man. They had it. They had a 98% chance to win the division like in the last 2 days of the season. They're hungry. They're ready. Corey Seager is fully healthy. Marcus Simeon's hot. They're ready, bro. I've been doubting the Rays throughout probably our entire college lives, and it's burned me. Quite frankly, like they've made me look like absolute fools. I think maybe all of us can attest to that in some way.
True.
But man, like it's more of just like what I want to see at this point, and I really do think the Rangers have what it takes this year. Obviously, like you mentioned, they don't have the pitching like they were supposed to. Obviously, like losing deGrom and Scherzer doesn't help by any means, but I just don't see it with this Rays team. I'm sorry, there's
they picked the worst time. They picked the worst time to have an emergency.
No, but I'm not. I'm serious though. I really do think the Rays have shown a lot of weaknesses this year, and I think in that bullpen too, it hasn't been as clean as we have seen in the past. So the Rangers had a historically good season this year. I don't think it stops in the wild card round. Give me the Rangers to win this in 3 games.
I agree with Nick here, and I think one thing that we have downplayed a lot is that the Rays started out on fire. Rest of the season, kind of underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
The offense kind of went bye-bye. The whole issue with Wander Franco, that's going to hurt a team, not just in that offense with his bat, but like just the whole situation. It hurts the clubhouse and kind of the morality of the team. But also, I have to factor in Bruce Bochy as well. You want to talk about postseason experience. The man's won multiple World Series. Corey Seager has won a World Series. Marcus Simeon's in the playoffs. They have a lot of guys that have played in the playoffs that can help those younger guys. And honestly, I think the offense of the Rangers is going to be too much. That's where I think the difference is. Which bullpen is going to hold up? I think it's the Rangers bullpen because the Rays bullpen has not been as good as it usually is. And I think that offense for the Rangers is light years better than the Rays.
We just cannot see Chapman in this series at all. Like I cannot fathom.
Do you know what's funny? Do you know who the Rangers could use in the starting rotation right now? Cole Reagans.
Oh man, he's been such a dog.
He's my dog. Cole Reagans.
Who's that?
That's the guy the Royals. You're joking, right?
I swear.
That's the Royals' new ace who they got for trading Chapman.
Second half, yeah.
Wow.
He won August Pitcher of the Month. He has been a dog.
No,
he's going to be the Royals' bona fide ace because Brady Singer is doo-doo. But forget the Royals. Forget them. They're not going to sniff the playoffs for a few years. It's okay. But I think that this Rangers team, like you said, Nick, is so hungry and so upset after letting the division slip through their fingertips. So I'm going to trust that offense. That's now the team's healthy. They got Garcia fully back. Jung's back as well. I trust this Rangers team. And I think if there's a series that is going to go 3 games, it's this one. And I'm taking the Rangers.
I think I will propose a counter argument to they're hungry. yes, they might be hungry, but they also might be really, really down.
That's where Bruce Bochy comes in and says, forget it. This is where you need a true veteran manager who's been through the ringer more than a few times. Bruce Bochy's seen it all. And I think that is an advantage as well. Yes, Kevin Cash has seen a ton of success, but their pitching staff is riddled with injuries. It's not the same pitching staff that has been so dominant to get them to the World Series as it has been in years past.
I think another factor is the lack of experience in the playoffs for the Rangers. They have a couple guys who have been there, but a lot of those young guys, Garcia, Jung, Heim, a lot of them have never been in the playoffs before, whereas the Rangers, everyone's been there. Yeah, like they've been in the playoffs every single year. And that also could be a mental thing. Sometimes the inspiring words from your manager might not be enough for you. You have to have that fire inside. And for a young player, they might not have the experience to be able to just turn that negative energy into a positive. A guy like Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, sure. But some of those young guys might be feeling so defeated that they feel like they have to win this series. They try a little too hard, and that screws them up. I don't know if that's going to play a factor. Again, predictions are such a throw it at the wall and hope that it sticks kind of deal. But I'll tell you what, this series, regardless of what happens, is probably going to be my Siri decided that she wanted to pop up on my computer for no reason. This series, regardless, is going to be fantastic. Why? Stop it. Why? She came back. I don't know what
series.
I know. It's going to be a great group of 3 games. It's going to be fantastic. I'll tell you, no matter what, they're going to both fight so hard, and I can't wait for that. So the AL side, we're a little split on the second series there. Shut up, Siri, not you. We were in agreement on the very first one. So that'll take us into the NL side of things with the NL Wild Card Series. And the first one that we have is the Diamondbacks versus the Brewers. And this series, I might have to just disable her if she keeps coming, but she hasn't. This series is very, very, very interesting because it got a little twist right before we started this show. Brandon Woodruff, the second best pitcher on the Brewers, is out for the Wild Card Series, maybe even out the entire postseason. And that changes so much. I mean, it really does. I don't know if I'm going to change my prediction necessarily. I might, but for right now, that completely alters the entire series, in my opinion. I think it goes from a one-sided series that I thought the Brewers are going to win in 2 games to the Diamondbacks now have a pretty good chance to win this series. Do I think it's going to happen? Not necessarily, but the Diamondbacks are outmatched in game 1. We've got Brandon Pfaadt against Corbin Burns, but then game 2, you've got Gallen and Peralta. If
I'm the Brewers, I'm not starting Peralta game 2. You win game 1, you start Wade Miley and save Freddie Peralta for game 3. That is what I'm doing. That would be a huge mistake by counsel, in my opinion. Play for the elimination game. Because if you get a great Zach Gallen like we have grown accustomed to, especially that first half of the year, going against Freddie Peralta, you might waste pitching him.
Right.
Play the long game. Go with Freddie Peralta in game 3.
I agree with you. The question is, will that end up happening? So who knows? And I think it really does come down to managing. I mean, if we see Wade Miley game 2 in that series against Gallen and you've got Peralta and Kelly game 3, it's still a toss-up game 3, though. Whereas before, you had an easy win for the Brewers game 1, and then you've got Woodruff Gallen game 2, and you just feel like the D-backs' energy would just be gone at that point, and the Brewers would take it in 2 games. But now they've got that feeling of, oh my God, we now have a chance. They might come out tomorrow feeling even better than they do today or than they did today. I mean, this can completely change everything. So I want to hear your guys' predictions first, including the Woodruff situation, before I give mine, because I'm probably going to alter mine based on your takes and just hearing some opinions.
I'm gonna just predict what basically I want to see happen at this point. And baseball is a sport where I think we can all collectively agree things don't happen like they should. Like you say that for every sport. So with that being said, D-backs take game 1. They beat Corbin Burns.
Wow. That changes everything.
Then you have your ace out there for game 2, who we know has struggled on the road, but I can't think of a better matchup wise in the NL to where Gallen's road struggles would hurt him. Because I think the Brewers have the worst lineup in the NL, like in the playoff field. So I think that plays in the D-backs' favor. I think the D-backs sweep. Plain and simple. 2-0, they sweep. Brewers, bye-bye. D-backs on to the next round. I just have a feeling, man, and it might be the bias in me, the biased AZ kid saying, hey, like, D-backs have it this year, but the Brewers remind me a lot about the Rays in the sense that they have not really impressed me much this year. They're injured. The lineup's inconsistent. They just don't have what it takes to win ball games at the end of the day. So I'm going to take the D-backs to sweep. The D-backs, they find a way to get to Corbin Burns in game 1, and then Gallen shuts them out in game 2.
This is such a tough series to predict. This one, in my opinion, is the hardest one. And I think it's because the whole news with Woodruff, and it's going to come down to managing. I agree with you, Michael, on how you go with your pitching if you're Craig Counsell. You lose game 1, you have to throw Freddie Peralta. You know that.
Yes.
But you win game 1 like you should with your ace on the mound. You should not throw Freddie Peralta against Zach Gallen against that lineup. Because if there's a game where Zach Gallen and his road struggles just disappear, it's this one. In this series against a weak lineup compared to the other lineups in the NL. So I am going to take the D-backs in 3. I think they lose game 1, as they should, with the pitching matchup. And I just think the home environment also gets to them. Another very young team, fun team, but I think that gets to them. Game 2, Gallen goes out against Wade Miley, gets the win. And then it comes down to Merrill Kelly versus Freddie Peralta. And I think it just comes out to which offense can break through in the biggest moment. And I am taking the D-backs 10 times out of 10 over the Brewers offense. Again, I could see this series being a sweep by the Brewers too if they go back-to-back with Peralta.
That's how it should go. That's how it should go.
Burns. That's how it should go. But I'm going to take the D-backs in 3. This one has been by far my toughest one to predict, though.
Well, I will say yesterday my prediction was Brewers in 2. I mean, the Diamondbacks have been playing somewhat uninspired offensively lately. The bats just have not been there. And for whatever reason, they've just been in a slump. You can't just snap out of it that quickly just because you're in a playoff series. Sometimes you can. But if they're going to get hot, they need to start tomorrow. And the problem is, with Corbin Burns on the mound, that is the worst pitcher to face when you need to get your offense going. That's going to get him feeling worse for game 2. And who knows what happens from there? I mean, you just don't know. But I did say that Brandon Woodruff getting knocked out changes everything, and I completely believe that. I'm going from Brewers in 2 to D-backs in 3 because I completely agree with everything you guys are saying. I feel like the Diamondbacks are sneaky enough that they can beat Burns. I don't think they will. But the other thing is that Ryan, that you didn't mention, let's say the D-backs do win tomorrow and the Brewers throw Freddie Peralta in game 2. Do the D-backs put Merrill Kelly in game 2 on shortened rest and save Gallen for game 3?
No, that would be a terrible decision.
You have Zach Gallen.
Do not pitch. Do not do that on the road, one, and do not put a pitcher in on short rest in the playoffs unless you have to.
Because
that's a terrible idea.
Let's say Merrill Kelly does go out and win that game too, then Gallen wouldn't have pitched for like almost 2.5 weeks at that point.
That takes him off a routine.
Right, that's true. That's very true.
I would not even consider that if I'm Torey Lovello. That's not even in my brain at all.
No, that's what I figured the answer was going to be.
I think the pitching decisions are all Brewers based in this one. It's pretty cut and dry if you're the D-backs.
It should be. It should be. I completely agree. So with that in mind, I think the D-backs struggle in game 1, but I think they get it in game 2 with Gallen on the mound. I completely agree. And I think, like you said, it comes down to Peralta and Kelly. And the D-backs winning, if they win in game 2, it really all comes down to if the D-backs can win in game 2, they win the series. If they don't win in game 2, they get swept. And if they do, I think they win. Because if they win that game 2 game, then they have the ability to beat Freddie Peralta. They're feeling good. They're off of a win. They know that it's a toss-up. They've got Kelly on the mound, who's been great. Freddie Peralta, they know, is their 3 starter. They can go out there and win that game. And if they do that, they'll win the series, obviously. And I think that's what's going to happen. And it all hinges to me on game 2. Tomorrow, I don't think matters in the slightest. It's exciting to see the D-backs in the playoffs. That's going to be all it really is. Like, oh boy, the D-backs are here, but we're not going to win tomorrow. I don't think it is. And I don't think what happens tomorrow. I know. I think we'd all be very surprised if they won regardless. But
it's playoff baseball.
That would be crazy. It would be crazy. But
it'd be crazy, yeah.
If
playoff baseball's crazy.
Yes, it is. I think it's going to all hinge on game 2. I really do. So I cannot believe I'm saying this.
I also think game 2 is like a 2-1 win.
Yeah, it could be.
It's a grindy win.
I think most of the games this series are going to be heavily, heavily under. Like,
yes.
We're talking like 4-2, 5-1 ball games out here.
Right.
And this is why we stay away, because as the great Big Cat once said, life's too short to bet the under.
They could lose. The D-backs could definitely lose like 9-1 tomorrow if Brendan Pfaadt explodes.
Win 9-1 tomorrow.
They could. It's anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. That's why we love baseball. That is why baseball is the greatest sport. Anything can happen. It really can. Anything in the world can go on. I mean, heck, the last 2 years, the lowest seed in the playoffs has made it to the World Series, and one of them, it won. So just sometimes you just never know what's going to happen. The D-backs are the lowest seed this year. There's that trend going. Maybe they make it to the World Series. Who the heck knows? Like, anything can happen. I'm just rooting for them to get out of the wild card so that I can watch a playoff baseball game for the first time in my life, because I never have. And to be able to maybe work that game would be incredible. But never know what's going to happen.
You've never been to a playoff baseball game?
Never. The Mets were only in it twice when I was in New York, and the tickets were $1,000. So wasn't going to bother. It was ridiculous.
Fair.
It was $1,000 to be in standing room only. That was the cheapest seat in the house. It was utterly ridiculous.
I will always remember how much my parents paid to go to that 2014 wild card game. First Royals playoff game of my life, and I got to go see Salvi down the left field line. I hope Parker Dunn is watching.
Probably not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. I'd say there's like 99.999% odds he is not watching.
No, I'll give you a 100% chance he's not.
Yeah, I agree. So somehow, some way, in the most magical swing ever, we went from probably all predicting, well, Nick probably was still going with the D-backs, but we probably went from 2 out of 3 predicting the Brewers to now a sweep for the D-backs across the board. It's crazy. I cannot believe that I'm saying that, but so much has changed in just the last hour since that happened that now it's really anyone's game. That changes the whole dynamic. So that is Wild Card Series 1. NL Wild Card Series 2, we have the Marlins and the Phillies. This series is weird. It's the primetime series, which I don't really know if I agree with, but out of all the Wild Card Series, everyone wants to see the Phillies, so I get it. But I really don't think it's going to be a contest. I really don't. The Marlins, Alcantara isn't even back yet. And other than that, they really don't have much other starting pitching that can really, I would say, solidify it. I mean, yes, Edward Cabrera has been good. I just don't think the Marlins stand a chance. I really don't. I think the Phillies are going to take it in 2 games. I think it's going to be very one-sided. I feel bad for the Marlins because they're a really fun team, but I really think this is going to be all Phillies.
Yeah, I wouldn't say all Phillies, but I do think they come away with the series win here. Obviously, a team that just went to the World Series last year, it's really hungry to get back to that point. Obviously, Trey Turner's been outstanding since his team stood up for him, literally. But I wouldn't say it's going to be as easy as we may think it is. I think actually the Marlins have an interesting way. They could jump out to a 1-0 series lead when they play tomorrow. Yeah, I think they have a great chance with Luzardo on the mound against Wheeler. Wheeler hasn't looked the best at times. I think we've seen him like 3 or 4 starts. He's been rocked. I remember him getting rocked by the Nationals in that Little League World Series game. And Luzardo's been really, really, really underratedly solid for the Marlins this year. So I wouldn't count him out in game 1. However, after that, game 2 is Braxton Garrett versus Aaron Nola, and there's no. It's quite frankly over for the Marlins at that point, I would say. But I think it goes 2-1 Phillies. I think Miami jumps out to a 1-0 series lead tomorrow. They get to Wheeler, but then Philly, they find that magic and they end up rallying for the last 2 games of the series.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think Philly sweep. I think this is the most likely series to be a sweep, in my opinion. I think the Marlins just don't have as much playoff experience, obviously. But I just think first-year manager might not bode too well in the playoffs. I just think the talent gap is really leaning towards the Phillies, and I just think that despite struggles from Wheeler and from that pitching staff all year long that's been inconsistent, I think they find it just like they did last year, and I think the Phillies get the sweep in this one.
I will say Skip Schumacher is not managing like it's his first rodeo, though.
Oh, absolutely not. He has been terrific.
He's been everything that they wanted and more, and it's honestly it's really fun seeing this Marlins team in the playoffs. They really did deserve after what they've been through, but didn't they get game 1 tomorrow?
I mean, if they do, it would be a big surprise, I think, for a lot of people. And I think also on the flip side for the Phillies, I think they're counting their lucky stars that they're playing the Marlins and not the D-backs, because quite frankly, I think the D-backs stood a better chance because of that pitching staff. You throw Gallen and Kelly out there in that series, the only thing the Phillies really have going for them as a definite is their lineup. Kelly and Gallen could have shut that lineup down and maybe even won that series, whereas the Marlins don't have anyone that can really silence that offense except for maybe Luzardo. So I think that really the Phillies dodged a bullet by having the D-backs in the 6th seed, and I think that's going to help them out because I genuinely thought that the D-backs stood a better chance against the Phillies. Now I think we might have a better chance against the Brewers with Woodruff out. But, I mean, I think the Phillies have to be feeling pretty good about playing the Marlins. They know the Marlins better than any other team because they're in the same division. So they have to feel comfortable. They just do. They have to feel very good about their chances. So that gets us out of the wild card round, and that brings us to the American League Divisional Series. And the DS starts with the Astros series, the Houston Astros, AL West champions in 2023 against all odds throughout the season. And I have the Blue Jays facing them. Actually, we all have the Blue Jays facing them. So we all have Blue Jays Astros in that DS. And this is an interesting series that I think could go either way, but I'm sticking with my gut, and that's that the Astros are doesn't matter that they won the division in a tie. They're still a good team. They have been in the playoffs every damn year. They've been in the World Series every damn year. This team is so good, and I see no reason why they're going to stop in the DS. I think they take it in 4 games.
Wait, I'm 100% blanking. So would I not have Blue Jays Orioles in the next round?
No, it would be Blue Jays and Astros.
Oh, it's not the lower seed. The lower seed goes and plays the higher seed.
Yeah, no, it's not on. It's not anymore, actually, which makes no sense. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Blue Jays Astros. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. See, that's.
Yeah, I see that. That's what I'm using too to check, but like I just feel like
it feels weird.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. 100%. I thought it was going to be Astros Rangers. I was pretty excited for that, but
would have been cool.
No, yeah, Blue Jays Astros, man. Yeah, and Michael, you're pretty spot on. I it's death taxes and the Houston Astros win the AL West at this point. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a 3-team or 4-team race. They still find a way to win the division, even if it looks like it's not going to happen for like the 4th or 5th consecutive year. But this Astros team, man, it's so dangerous. So it's just so frightening. I would hate to draw them in the first round, especially after all that rest and everything that they've been going through, man. I don't think it's going to be much of a series. The Blue Jays have been disappointing all year this year, really, and I think the Astros sweep. Honestly, I really do. Wow. I don't think they have a problem taking out the Blue Jays at all in this series.
This is all Astros. It wouldn't shock me if it was a sweep. I said it earlier. The Blue Jays consistently underperform and are consistently inconsistent as well. So I think that doesn't bode well. And you're going against a bona fide playoff team, has World Series experience, World Series winning experience with a Hall of Fame manager, and they just went out and got one of the greatest pitchers of our generation in Justin Verlander at the trade deadline to help that pitching staff that wasn't that great in the first half. So this one's all Astros, and I think they win this one very easily. It wouldn't shock me if they swept Toronto.
I feel the same way, and I think you guys hit the nail on the head. I mean, the Blue Jays are just not having the year that people expected them to. That pitching staff has really struggled, and I just think it's not their year. They just need to make a couple more changes, and they'll get there. So that takes us to the other ALDS matchup, which is another one that, while you wanted to see Rangers and Astros, there is a possibility of a Rays-Orioles DS, which is what I'm going for, which would be awesome. I mean, a Rays, I know you guys don't have it, but a Rays-Orioles ALDS would be awesome. I mean, could you just imagine the eyeballs that would get? That would be, it feels like last year where it's the winner of that series basically wins the division. Or sorry, 2 years ago with the Dodgers and Giants. It's like two Goliaths that both could have won the division, and only one of them is going to make it to the championship series. And I'm going against the odds, and I'm going with the Rays beating the Orioles in 5 games. I have the Rays winning that series and going to the CS. And my main reason is the postseason experience. Orioles have none of it at all, and we have seen it time and time again. Teams without playoff experience, they tend to struggle in their first year in the playoffs, and I just think the Orioles are going to have that this year. Magical year for them, but I don't think they make it out of the DS. They'll be back, and I think they'll be back with a force next year and in the years after that. But I think the Rays take it this year, and they get the last laugh in 5 games.
Yeah, so I have the Rangers and Orioles. Man, I can't tell if this is a playoff series or these are two teams drafting in the top 5. It feels like just yesterday, the Orioles and Rangers were like deadlock for a draft lottery. But
true.
It's crazy to see how far we've come. These two teams pose a lot of obviously positives and negatives to each other, but man, I don't know what it is, but I just think the Rangers have what it takes this year. I'm not saying they're going to win it all by any means, but I think they have what it takes to take down Baltimore. Baltimore obviously has had an astounding year, but I think we can all agree collectively they don't feel like a 1 seed. I think if anything, the Astros are the definitive 1 seed in this bracket, and I feel like the Orioles are being treated like they've been here before and they've gone back to back years, like winning this division and everything like that. Don't get me wrong. This was an amazing year for that fan base, for that city. I just think Texas has what it takes. I'm going to take that lineup. I'm going to take the managerial experience. And frankly, they just have more playoff experience on that roster as a whole compared to Baltimore. But, man, it was really fun watching the Orioles this year. But I do think the Rangers have what it takes to take them down.
It is incredible what the Orioles have done. 110-plus losses a couple years ago to 100 wins. It's incredible, and it's been so fun to watch with the young guys that they have. I don't think that bodes well for them, though. Like we've said, playoff experience is big. They have none of it, really. They don't have a manager that's been in the playoffs either, and it's incredible what Brandon Hyde has done. But still hasn't had that experience yet. On the flip side, their pitching, I think, is weak. Flaherty hasn't been that solid for them since he got there. And I think that's going to be their issue, is that pitching is going to be the letdown there. And I think if I have to look at the two rotations and pick one, it's hard because neither rotation is great, but I would probably pick the Rangers. So I'm going to take the Rangers in this one. I think it is a closer series than people may believe. It's a close series, but I think the Rangers take it.
I think I'll agree with you guys if the Rangers do get there. I think the Rangers also take that series. I really don't think the Orioles stand a chance regardless of who they play, to be honest. So I've got to completely agree if the Rangers do get there. But obviously, I have the Rays moving on to the CS. But you guys rolling with the Rangers. So we don't have too much out of commonality here. We all have the Astros moving on to the CS. You guys have them playing the Rangers. I have them playing the Rays. So it's not like we have a whole bunch of different ideas. I really do think that there is a possibility. Oh, Marco just wrote in our group chat and said he wants a D-backs Orioles World Series. I think I like that. That's a bold pick. I think from a fan perspective, that would be awesome, but I don't think that's going to happen. So let's move to the NL side of the divisional series. And we now all have the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, which quite frankly, never thought that was a possibility. And this one, I think we get a little bit, I think the magic runs out for the D-backs. I think they might win a game in that series. They might. I think the way that's going to work out is because the pitching will be stacked in the Dodgers' favor in the beginning half, but the D-backs will get Gallen and Kelly against some lower pitchers for the Dodgers, which could grab them a win. But I'm rolling with the Dodgers here. I'd be really stupid to say the D-backs are going to beat the Dodgers. I think the D-backs lose in 4 games. Dodgers go ahead and move on to the championship series.
I said earlier, sports, there's a lot of different things that could happen. Things aren't guaranteed. Let's not overthink this one. It's the Dodgers have sunned the D-backs since I can remember. It's frankly the fact that it's a divisional matchup for them in the playoffs. I think they're laughing at it at this point. I think we all thought going into the year that they'd be playing the Padres in this scenario, but we won't get there.
No.
But I think you're right. They might grab a game because Gallen pitches against like Bobby Miller in some scenarios maybe, but it's the Dodgers, man. What more can you really say? It's that lineup top to bottom is just one of the best I've ever seen ever. The rotation's fine, even though they don't even have Walker Buehler or Dustin May. Frankly, it's not going to matter. Dodgers sweep.
Wow.
I don't think it's a sweep. I personally don't, because what is always the weirdest matchups? It is those interdivision matchups. Anything can happen. These are 2 NL West teams. I think the Dodgers win it, no doubt. But I think it is a closer series than people think. I think the D-backs do get a game. I don't think they get swept. But I do think the experience the Dodgers have, they have the better lineup. That offense is great. The pitching, somehow, that pitching staff has not imploded after all of the injuries and everything that has happened this year. Dave Roberts gets so much, I don't want to say hate, but it honestly is. And look at what he's done this year. With a roster that does not look like the Dodgers rosters that we've seen in the past couple of years, he has done a terrific job. Dodgers win this series, but I do think the D-backs get a game.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that the D-backs. I mean, look, the crazier things have happened. Last year, we saw both of the top seeds getting knocked out in the DS, but I think this year, second year of having that long layoff for both the Braves and the Dodgers, I think they're both a little bit smarter this year. They both know what to do. They both will be prepared, I think, for what they need to do and will handle it pretty easily. So I agree with you with that. So we go to the next NLDS matchup here where we have the Phillies and the Braves. We all have the Phillies, right? I think, Nick, you said that you might see the Marlins, but you said the Phillies.
Yeah, Marlins game 1, but Phillies.
Yeah, okay. And then Ryan, I know, said the Phillies. So we have Phillies, Braves, and another interdivision matchup, which would just be really, really cool and good for baseball. And it's a rematch of last year's NLDS. And I think this is a big one because I quite honestly think the win. Well, no, I'm not going to go that far because I don't want to
You're
spoil
right,
anything.
You're right.
Yes. But yeah, I'll just say it. I think that the winner of this series goes on to win the World Series. I really do. This is a big, big series, and I think a lot rides on this series. And I think the Braves are going to prevail in 5 games. I think the Braves are such a good team this year. We say it every year that we just feel like that best team is going to win the playoffs, but this year it just feels like destiny for the Braves. It really does. To me, it feels a lot like 2018. Best team in baseball by a long shot. But
Timeout.
What?
We said destiny multiple times. There's no way the Dodgers don't win it. I'm not saying the Braves aren't going to win it, but that destiny argument, we have seen this before. The best team barely wins.
I know that.
We've said this before. And I'm not trying to hate on the Braves by any means. I love this Braves team. That offense is undeniable. In my opinion, that's the most complete team in baseball, the best team in baseball. But we have to factor in that's the playoffs and craziness can happen. I think that so I'm not trying to hate on the Braves by any means, but we have to remember we've said this before.
I know. I think that this year, I think the Braves are in a good spot. So I've got them winning this series in 5 games.
No, I don't know. I have no idea. This is just if you want to talk about toss-up, this is really like the first like toss-up series. Like I can this is just like I'm almost speechless to like even give a take on this series. You're right. The winner of this series wins the whole thing. This is literally like the mini World Series in a sense because I can't think of a better matchup, honestly. Oh man, I want to say the Phillies so bad. Like I really do, but I can't be that Nimrod that fades the Braves in the playoffs. Oh, sorry, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna go with the Braves.
Okay,
but it's just so close, man. It's the lineup. I'm gonna give it to the lineup. The fact that Michael Harris is batting 9th in that lineup it speaks volumes. It really should because I want to see the Phillies so bad. It's not the Phillies. Braves win the series. It goes the distance. I think we're in for an all-time thriller of a series. I think it ends in some dramatic fashion with like Acuna like stealing home or something like that. Like it's gonna be some dramatic thing that just makes the baseball world go crazy. But man, if I'm a Phillies fan, I am not even. I'm scared, but I'm not remotely terrified of this Braves team. I think if I'm a Phillies fan, I'm going with 100% confidence that this team can honestly make a return back to the World Series, just because you just look at that roster, man, and you look from last year. They add Trey Turner, they add all these guys, and it's just they're set up in a really good position this year, in my opinion. But it just sucks that they run to the Braves this early.
Gentlemen, cover your ears for a sec. You'll still hear me. This is such a hard series to predict. It's so hard because this is the mini World Series, in my opinion. I agree with you guys. I think there's 2 X factors in this series. Both of them are on the Phillies. It's Schwarber and Trey Turner. If we can get Trey Turner from World Baseball Classic or playoff Trey Turner, this series is a lot closer. Because Trey Turner for most of the year was not Trey Turner. But if also Schwarber can consistently get on base and hit 6 home runs in a series, it's also so much different. But the Braves, how many teams have hit 300 home runs in a season, Michael?
2.
The Twins did it in like 2019, I think.
3 teams, including the Braves this year. 3 teams have done it ever. They set the historic mark for slugging percentage at .501 as a team.
Woo, that's a lot.
Do you know how freaking crazy that is?
Yes.
As a team. It makes it so much harder because you've got such an elite offense. But you also have to look at the Phillies who have an offense that can match it. That's the crazy thing. And it's hard to believe that there's an offense that can match what the Braves can do, but the Phillies can. Which pitching staff stands tall? That's the question. I want to pick the Phillies. I do. But I think it's Braves. This thing goes the distance. It would not really shock me if the Phillies won this series, but I think it does go the distance. We've all agreed on that. And the Braves take it.
It's so tough. It's so tough.
Really
if anyone
is.
would have said the Phillies, I would have been so supportive. Like,
yeah,
it's not. There's no wrong answer in my opinion. Like, there's really just not.
No, it's hard to pick. And quite honestly, it could also be one of those series that doesn't go 5 games. We just we say it all the time. We think it's a great matchup, so it's going to go 5 games.
Yeah,
a lot of the time, it could be a great matchup and it goes 3 because each game ends 7-6, and one team just got that lucky last hit every time. You never know. We're so quick to go, oh, it's a close series. It's got to go the distance. But how many times have we seen that happen where it's a close series and one team just dominates in the win category? Because in a really close series, I mean, last year, the Blue Jays Mariners, perfect example of that. Wild card series, the Blue Jays win in 2 games, and the Mariners were fighting the entire way. They even had an 8-run lead in game 2 of that series. So it happens. It just does. And it's so tough to predict how many games that they have because
I just can't fathom after what Acuna did this year and what Matt Olson did. I just can't fathom that they go home in their first series in the playoffs. Like that's more what it comes down to for me. Like, if this was in the NLCS matchup, I might pick the Phillies, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But you just can't. In my opinion, it's hard to pick against the Braves in their first playoff series since everything that's just happened this year. Like, they've had a dream regular season. Like, you can't. Maybe like the pitching wise, maybe they want to be healthier pitching wise, but you can't ask for a better regular season if you're a Braves fan. You just can't.
Yeah, I completely agree. So that ends the divisional series predictions. We're getting close. We've got 4 teams left for each of us, and that takes us to the ALCS. You guys have the Orioles and the Astros. I have the Rays and the Astros. Sorry. Rangers. You have the Rangers.
We have Rangers.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Forgot. So you guys have Rangers, Astros. I have the Rays and the Astros. And this series, nonetheless, I mean, I'm obviously going to speak about the Rays and the Astros possibility because it's a fascinating possibility. You have 2 completely different teams, but also 2 very similar teams. 2 teams that are not overpowering. The Astros are not as overpowering as they used to be anymore. Without Springer and Correa, they are not a lock every year. And quite frankly, I think this series is going to be really, really, really good. I think it goes 7 games between the Rays and the Astros, and I have the Rays winning the series. We have MVP picks for this series as well, and I'm going just with a random Yandy Diaz pick, but I mean, who knows? But I don't know, man. It's
AL batting champ.
Yeah, dude, anything can happen in the ALCS. And I think this is when we finally see the end of the reign of the Houston Astros in a normal season of making it to the World Series.
Wow. I love it. If you're gonna back the Rays, you might as well take them and go all the way at that point. Like,
yeah,
it's just a smart thing to do. Oh man, I wish Max Scherzer was effing healthy, man. Because
he might be by then.
If we get Verlander and Scherzer for a chance to Rays, I will be a little bit depressed inside because I wear this jersey. But man,
how do you think I feel?
How do you think I feel,
Michael? Shut up!
No, this year.
No,
Michael, come on!
No, you're not gonna do that.
No, don't try that.
How do you think I feel?
What was it? A half a season? Shut up! No,
I know.
No,
it should have been us.
Nick has been put through the ringer. No, do not say that.
We should have had them pitching in the playoffs.
Don't even stop.
I know. But
Michael, do us all a favor here and zip it because you are wrong. You are in the wrong. Nick has been put to the ringer ever since both of them left Detroit.
Fine. I will say.
Also, hold on. Side note: that should be the first TikTok.
It should be. It is wild though to think that Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer are both in the playoffs, as everyone expected them to be this year with the Mets, and they might be playing each other in the ALCS in Game 1. It's just crazy.
Also, I think you guys need to go see the group chat.
I did.
Marco saying, how do you think I feel? Classic Michael having to make it about himself. Marco, that is so true. That is an all-time line, but it cannot be more correct.
You know what's funny is the people of TikTok are going to be so confused. I'm wearing a Diamondbacks outfit talking about how do you think I feel? People are like, what are you talking about? But yeah.
Anyway, back to what I was saying.
It's called using a caption, Michael.
I know.
So Rangers Astros, the Battle of Texas. This state ain't big enough for the two of us. Whew! This is a dandy. If Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer were anywhere close to competently healthy, I would think completely differently. But man, it's the Astros. It's always been the Astros. At the moment they won the division, I think 2 days ago, I was like, all right, they're going back to the World Series. It's I've seen it too many times. At this point, I'm kind of rooting against the Astros because like we love parity in the MLB. Like who doesn't want to see like different teams win and stuff? But it's just hard when it's the Astros, man, and they put it together like a winning product out there every single day. For an MVP pick, I'm gonna go with Jordan. I feel like Jordan's been very much slept on this entire year. I think he's started hitting up towards the end of the regular season. I think he has a big series in Texas, and against Texas. For that matter, I think the Astros win.
Easy series to travel to and from for each team.
I'm very sad because I don't want to pick the Astros, but the Astros have it all together. That's the most complete chemistry team, maybe besides the Braves, because they've just done this together year after year after year. And despite losing guys like Springer, despite losing guys like Correa, they still do it. Chas McCormick and Jeremy Pena fill the roles.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Chaz has been so underrated this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Jose Abreu's been hot the last week.
Yeah, Jose Abreu finally got it going. Like, this team just keeps finding guys to make up for stars that they lose. And again, Jeremy Pena has not been Jeremy Pena this year. Hasn't been as good. But this team as a whole is still loaded. And I hate to say it, I'm going to go Astros in this, but I think this series does go 7 despite the pitching differences. I think it's usually – I'm sorry, that text that we just got. I'm sorry. Gosh. For those that don't know, we're texting in our group chat with us three and Marco, and he just said, I don't usually snap, but man, I had to say something. Everybody has their limits, and the one person to always push it is Michael.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
Really good.
It's my specialty.
So, I think this series is a lot closer because I think if the Rangers offense gets going, that offense can just pour on runs like nobody else. So, I think that this series goes the distance, but in the end, it's going to be the Astros that win it. And I don't like to say that. But again, if DeGrom and Scherzer were healthy, Rangers, they're going to the World Series. Just saying.
So we have 2 Astros and 1 Rays going to the World Series on the American League side. So let's figure out the National League side. And we all have the Dodgers and Braves, which is the matchup that it's the matchup we thought we had last year that the Padres and Phillies took away from us. Ryan, you are ruining the broadcast by laughing at Nick's text messages.
How about you turn off your ringer?
Well, it's on his computer, so there's no way to turn it off. He needs the volume on to hear us.
My ringer's off.
Well, I don't have texts on my laptop, thank heavens. So that doesn't
I wish
matter to me.
I didn't. It's so dumb.
You can take it off.
I
should, yeah.
All my texts just come flying in. I'm just like,
It's also like delayed too, and I'm just like, well, I don't need to be seeing this right now.
Andy Martino just reported Aaron Boone is expected to return as Yankees manager. Terrible decision.
Hell.
why?
Wow.
I like Aaron Boone. I think it's great that he will say, screw it, I'll pay the fine, I'll get ejected. I like it. I like his mentality. He will fight first team, and you cannot say he doesn't. But
I like his mentality.
Not the guy.
Actually, he's the perfect guy for the Yankees job. If he keeps doing what he's doing, I think I will appreciate the Yankees even more. Yes.
Correct. Because they will never win again.
Exactly.
And that is good for baseball.
The way the Mets are trending, it doesn't look like they'll be doing much winning either.
Yeah, but we actually make changes, whereas the Yankees still have Aaron Boone running their team, and he has not done anything.
That's
he
fair.
has not done a thing. The Mets just fire everybody. So,
yeah.
At least we try.
It just feels like cutthroat New York, really. It really does.
It does. It does. All right, so back to what we were
World Series predictions.
NLCS. We haven't to go through Dodgers and Braves there.
We already said everything.
Braves again, bro.
We didn't say Dodgers Braves.
We said the last series, the winner of the series is going to win the World Series.
That's true, but still,
oh my God,
we have to mention how many games. So we have Dodgers Braves, and we all know we're going with the Braves because we have them going to the World Series. I have it in 4 games, though. I do have. I think the Braves are just gonna once they make it through that DS, the monkey's off their back. They know that the week off curse is gone, and then they can just take off. Once they do that, I think they're going to dominate. I think they're going to win that series in 4 games. I actually have Marcell Ozuna as my MVP, which is wild. But, I mean, hell, random things happen in the playoffs. So, I love it. So, Braves in 4, Marcell Ozuna MVP.
Man, I was kind of proud of myself at the start of the show. I was giving kind of obscure picks, kind of testing the waters here and there, saying, the D-backs can beat the Brewers, all that. But we always find ourselves with the same the past 3 years. It's been Astros, Braves, Dodgers. We've always had those in our final 4. It's never ceases to amaze me. I always feel wrong about it just because I don't want to be that guy that gets the heavy favorite wrong, advancing to the next round, but it's hard. I don't see teams beating these teams. That's why we're in the situation. God damn it, Blink.
Ryan he knows when you're talking.
It's making me laugh. I'm sorry. Flowers.
You can wait till Nick's done talking to answer him.
Oh my God. This series has literally burned me as a baseball fan just because I've gotten it wrong so many times. It's always the better team won't win. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But Marco's right. He called me out. I said earlier that this Dodgers lineup was one of the best I've seen. That's completely horse crap because they've had better lineups the past 4 years. I just completely miss out on. But this Braves team is better than the Dodgers lineup, top to bottom, 100%. I think the rotation's helped here at this point. I think at this point they have the experience. They have what it takes. It sounds like the Dodgers have way more experience than the Braves do at this point. It's their year. Let's just put it frankly. It is their year. I think they get the monkey off their back, like Michael said. I think they hand it to the Dodgers this year. It's personal in Atlanta this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think it's best of 7, right? So I think it goes to 6, 4-2 Braves.
I agree with everything Nakash just said. Braves in 6. And yeah, it is personal. Should have had this last year. We saw what happened a few years ago. The team was up 3-1, and we saw what happened. But we're not going to talk about that. What we're going to talk about is how this Braves team just consistently, it's the homegrown products and then using that to get more, in a sense. They let Freddie Freeman walk, which at the time we thought was insane. And then Matt Olson goes this year and sets the, franchise record in home runs. It's crazy. Ronald Acuna is going to be MVP. But again, we can't count out the Dodgers because they've got Freeman. They've got Betts. They've got a very deep lineup and a very deep bench. But I'm going to take the Braves in 6 because I trust that pitching more, and I think that team is just more complete than the Dodgers.
Fair. So we've all got the Braves moving along. You guys have Braves Astros. I have Braves Rays. So I'll start off with my Rays versus the Braves. And this one is where the Rays magic finally loses.
Sorry. MVP for the last series. I'm going to go with Austin Riley.
Okay.
My MVP, I love making obscure picks. I'm waiting for you guys to call me crazy. Aussie Albies.
It's not obscure. Marcell Ozuna was obscure.
Hear me out. Nicky Lopez.
Do you know how much? I'm going on a rant now because you had to mention that name. I'm going on a quick little rant. The Royals got Taylor Hearn for him. A man they could have purchased from Texas because they DFA'd him. Oh, yeah, we'll trade Nicky Lopez for Taylor Hearn. Terrible.
I will forever love Nicky Lopez.
Do you know how sad I was? I love Nicky. I do. But the fact that the Royals got nothing for him makes me so upset. And I hope he gets a ring. And
we should have him on the podcast.
Next time I say I'm going on a rant and you throw your hat, next time you say rant, I'm going to just shut my computer. How about that?
I think there's a
fantastic.
We can get him on the podcast after the playoffs, obviously.
Nicky Lopez?
Small chance.
Okay. I'll send the DM right now.
I'll send the DM. He follows me.
What?
Yeah, because I took pictures of him at spring training, and he liked and retweeted them.
Bro,
there's
do it.
Send it.
All right, but I should probably wait, right?
Yeah. Wait till the
season. You guys want? I might be able to get somebody on the podcast.
Get past him right now.
He's been trying that for 4 years and has failed to get.
I'll be honest, I have not tried it once.
You guys never got any guests. So I brought on all the guests.
I tried getting Carabas.
Do you want? I know the Royals like on-field reporter for games. If you want me to bring him on,
sure.
You're the worst.
Ask the questions.
You're the worst.
Why?
Told you that?
Yes.
I try to say some good things.
I said sure. There was nothing wrong with what I said.
Yeah, I could have been more unenthusiastic.
I said sure.
All right, World Series predictions. I am taking the Braves over the Astros. It's a repeat, baby, of what happened. Braves winning in 6. My MVP, Matt Olson.
Great. I never got to say my pick, but it's okay.
Yeah, you know what? The host doesn't always have to go first, jerk.
I know that. I didn't
if you know that, why do you always go first?
Because I just like to go first. It's just
you know what they say, man. First is the worst, so it fits you very well.
Damn.
So you have a hairy chest?
No, I have the treasure chest.
Yeah,
AKA the Jew cave.
Oh, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah, big shout out to Michael Donahue.
Oh, that's amazing.
I can't believe you just dropped the Jew cave.
He just said the Jew cave on live
it's
television.
It's an inside joke from college. It's okay. I'm trying to relive the glory days.
Oh, man.
I peaked in college. It's okay.
Same.
I'm not going to say that.
Michael, when was your peak?
Haven't peaked yet, baby.
Tomorrow.
AKA he peaked in middle school.
Ooh, no. God, middle school was a dark time.
Middle school is the worst 3 years of your life.
Everyone's life. Let's be honest.
Yes, exactly. Middle school sucks.
Middle school is the worst. We should have 3 years off, and that would be better than middle school. All right, let me get back to my predictions. And someone's texting Nick.
That was Marco.
Yes, it probably was. But the World Series, I have Rays Braves, and like I said, I think the Rays magic stops in this series, and I think the Braves win it in 5 games against the Rays. I think, sadly, we're going to have a very uneventful World Series, which it'll just be a very one-sided Braves dominate, and it'll be like the 2018 World Series all over again. The Braves dominate, and they just hand it to the Rays, and no. That's nothing against the Rays. They are a great team, and I have them going all the way to the World Series, but I'd be shocked if they won that series. So we have ourselves an MVP pick for me, and that's Ronald Acuna Jr., and I see no reason why I should go with anyone else. It's the World Series. It's 5 games. It's not much time for a pitcher to really do anything, so I'm giving it to Acuna. So, Nick, you're now the last one to make your pick because Ryan jumped ahead of you.
Good.
You know what? And we're used to you jumping ahead of both of us. So
I didn't jump ahead. That's just how it goes. Oh, that's hilarious.
R.I.P. Nick's sanity.
Man, it's like this.
Nick's.
This is crazy, bro. Like, I want to say the Astros, but no, it's not the Astros. I'm overthinking it. It's the Braves. It was always the Braves. It was always the Braves. Okay. It was always the Braves.
The Nick sanity's over.
They get it done this year. Like we said, I think they become 2-time champions within a 4-year span now.
3 years.
3. Wow.
They won it in 21.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. And with mostly the same core too. Alex and Theropoulos, just with the masterclass of signings this offseason to keep that young core together. And it's going to pay off this year, I think, because they have the most well-rounded roster in all of baseball, and their pitching's not even 100% healthy. Craziness. I think they win the series. I think it goes 7. I think the Astros put up a miraculous fight. I think they're too good not to go out quietly. MVP pick, this is going to be hard, though. World Series MVPs aren't usually like their team's best players, the player that's performed the best throughout the regular season. So I'm going to go with Orlando Arcia.
Wow.
I think he's the type of player to just have a.
I like it.
Yeah, I think
like
he's
it.
the type of player that can kind of get hot within like a 5-6 game stretch. I think he's been very, very underrated sound this year. We thought we'd see Vaughn Grisham play shortstop this year for them. Orlando Arcia said, "Oh, wait a minute. Vaughn can come out in 3 years when." That's crazy, man. That's just actually crazy. They're such a good organization. Shout out to them. They win the World Series this year. Chop on.
You know, for a moment I thought about saying Nicky Lopez MVP. Because last time they won the World Series, it was a former Royal who won MVP.
It's true. Jorge! Boom! First at bat.
Start a World Series.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I can't wait till it's 2045 and the Royals win another World Series. It's every 30 years, 85 to 15, 15 to 45, 45 to 75. But by that time, I'll probably be dead. But it's okay.
You won't be dead. You'll be 74 years old.
We'll be at Ryan's funeral in like I almost said
we'll probably be in like Vegas because he bet the Royals to win the World Series that year, and we're going to be.
You know what? And you know, I
He's gonna have a heart attack.
Next time the Royals. I may have some clogged arteries. But come on now, heart attack.
I was saying you're gonna have a heart attack because you bet the Royals and were right, and you're just gonna have a heart attack and die right after they win the World Series. No, it's more likely I have a heart attack from sadness. If they win, I go around running around like a madman. I get run over by a bus. That's fair. So that's 2075. Can't wait. Book the date. Ooh. We are 52 years left of Ryan's existence.
It'd be like October 15th, 2070. When is the World Series this year?
Probably in November as usual. Probably.
Is it usually in November? I feel like
it usually ends in November. It's normally over by the end of November.
No, it's extended this year.
Yeah, November 4th is the last game. Also, do we know if they're doing that stupid? Remember how last year the wild card series? Sorry, not the wild card. The DS went games 1, 2, 3, and 4 in a row, and then Game 5 was the only, and the same was in the CS. I don't know if they're doing that this year. AL. Where is it? They are doing that stupid thing again this year.
What?
The NLDS plays games 2, 3, and 4 in a row. Like, that's just such a weird idea. I don't know why they do that. That's what they did last year. Why can't we just do 2, 2, and 1 the way it always was? There's no reason to do it any other way.
Or 2, 2, 1. 2, 2, 1's the best.
2, 2, 1's the way it always was.
Why not 3, 2 or 2, 3?
Right, but But then
I'm just trying to give a different perspective. I don't know what I'm saying at this point.
Bro, where's Marco, man?
I know.
Yeah, where is Marco? We need Marco to blow up at Michael because those are the best ones when Michael loses it. You know what, Michael? Your next job for the next week or so, find the best clips ever from this show, and we gotta start posting them on TikTok. The ones where we've walked out of the studio, where we've gone at you at your house.
The ones at your house were so good.
Well, the great thing with that one is I have an entire video of highlights of that.
So we have so many things that we could just post of us that I think people would enjoy. So get to work. You send me some, I'll post some.
The only thing that's going to be tough is because we shoot it like this, it's going to look weird. It's just going to be kind of small on the screen on TikTok because, everyone likes it to be nice and perfect in the vertical way. But they'll get over it.
What we might have to start doing is we have to find a different
recording like this.
Well,
hello, everybody, and welcome.
Or when each of us are talking, you just put the screen on them like you used to.
Yeah. Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Running the Bases.
Or
I'm
what
vertical,
you do is
Michael.
Just zoom in on your face for when that person is talking.
Yes.
And then switch it when another person's talking.
But everyone's reactions are what's perfect. It's because you have
then crop it.
You in the background going, "This is what's the best part."
Fine, then crop it.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way. We'll make it
smart.
We should start a TikTok though. That'd be cool. Wow.
We are going to
look at Marco's text.
We're starting a TikTok. Look at this official 2023 postseason cap right there.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, I got it yesterday. I was like, I'm paying the money for this because this is so worth it.
I was gonna say, did you get that for free, or was that like
No, that's not a thing, unfortunately. I wish, but
you don't get like any playoff merch.
So Nick Stavis is officially putting a $100 bet on the Braves, and if they don't win, Michael, Mr. CrossFit, you're doing 100 pull-ups, and you have to go live on TikTok the entire day for it.
Ooh, I'm just gonna be in the gym just doing 100 pull-ups, and it's gonna take like half hour, and people are gonna be like, "What the heck is that guy doing over there?" It's like I lost a bet.
People already look funny at you at the gym. It's okay.
Oh man.
Oh
what?
My.
The man's listening. People can hear Hardy from like 50 feet away.
No.
And he's probably going crazy to the song. Not because of him working out, just because of his reactions to songs.
That's true. That is 100% correct.
Like shit.
I do that in the gym.
I just cussed,
it's
but
fine.
Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
So when I'm at the gym,
that guy.
I start going crazy to my music. I start bobbing my head to the music. That's why I get looks. Not just the fact that I look like I need to be in the gym, but
man, you just always find a way.
All right,
hey, you know what? Love you. I am okay with as long as I can be the first one to make a fat joke, I can live with it.
That's 100% fair.
Great.
You're not fat though.
You know what I call myself?
Husky.
No.
Yes.
Husky. Yeah.
Husky. And you know what? And you know what? I'm all right with it. I stay warm during the winter.
Yes.
I do miss those days. I miss those days. Being warm in the winter. But I also would be way too hot in the summer. That was my other problem. So now I'm just hot in the summer and freezing cold in the winter, and it's lovely.
Arizona.
You live in Arizona.
I know, and I get cold in the winter now. It's awful.
You are a child.
That's
I know
crazy.
that.
You get cold now? That's crazy.
Yeah, I actually get cold now. It could be like 50 degrees outside, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt, and I hate my life. But to be fair, the humidity does make a difference.
But I just do it because I love wearing sweatshirts.
The humidity makes a difference because when I was on the road this year and we would be in places that had maybe 40, 50 degrees, I wasn't too bad, but when I was home, I would be shivering.
Oh,
so,
you know what's going to be funny? You should come visit me in December in North Dakota.
I should. It'll be like a throwback.
Negative 30 with 5 feet of snow on the ground.
I know, I can't wait.
But blackjack
in the back of Holiday, or in the lobby of a Holiday Inn. It's great.
Have you talked to Dom about our blackjack experience in Fargo?
I've not. I don't know if we should be doing this stuff on air at this point.
No, because for how gambling goes in the state of state of North Dakota, is there's like tribal gaming but a lot of the proceeds go to like different foundations.
Oh.
So Dom was in Fargo. I went and saw him. We had a great time. Dom, remember the back door, first off. Second off, we would, and it's like $3 minimums. So we played for hours with like $30. End up winning like $100 on the weekend. So I'll take it.
I walked out of there that week with $71 in my pocket from Fargo. Great time.
Oh yeah.
Great time.
When were you in Fargo?
In February.
Oh, I was like, wait, you were in Fargo and didn't tell me? That was before I was even here.
It was well before you were there. I was a North Dakotan before you. It was negative 12 degrees outside.
I'm never going to consider myself a North Dakotan.
Yeah, no.
Because my rule is I have to live there for at least 4 years of my life. And if I'm here for 4 years, we have an issue. Let me just say, I love my job. If anybody sees this, I enjoy North Dakota. I need to get back closer to the family.
Ryan's going to be fired tomorrow.
You need cause to fire me.
Yeah, that's true.
I got a lawyer, and we will sue for wrongful termination.
Are you on your 1-year contract?
No, I'm on.
Why are we doing this on the air? What is going on? Why don't we?
I don't know.
We should end the show.
Hey, we need people to get to know us too.
No, we don't. We really don't. That's just unnecessary. They'll get to know us in our TikToks.
Okay, mister.
They'll get to know us in our TikToks that we'll be religiously posting from the three of us, and it'll be awesome. So,
wow, Marco attacking me now? The whole purpose is to attack Michael. Let's wrap this up before this gets bad. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to Running the Bases. We're back. Stay tuned for the TikTok. Stay tuned for more episodes because guess what? We ain't going nowhere.